Shane Bangle with the Manna Group back today. Today I want to spend a little bit of time trying to give a little bit of a market update from a broad view in Spokane. The first most important kind of broad view is we're always a seasonal market. Traditionally speaking, we see a boost of sales begin in about May, and that boost in sales lasts through August-ish, if you will, depending on kind of how the season goes. Then we have really August has been over the last 2 years a bit of a lull, and then September, October have been a little bit of an uptick in activity, and then it gets very quiet during the holidays, November, Thanksgiving, Christmas in December. January, there's always a little boost in the new year, new me. Everybody feels like I'm going to do something, and they go out, they get a house. But as you know, in the Pacific Northwest, we have snow on the ground and weather. So on a whole, there's less transactions, less houses sold, less houses bought during the winter time. And then that kind of slowly picks up over through the winter, and we hit the boost again in May. So some numbers to give you a frame of reference. Closed sales in 2022, in the busiest month, and this is the entire Spokane MLS, we had 704 transaction close in 2022. In 2024, there was 523. So you can see we've hit a little bit of a dip in how many homes are being sold and bought. That's to be expected. When the Fed raised interest rates, that made home affordability a lot harder to attain. So you saw things slow down, and you saw quite a few things slow down, because if you own a house and you have 3% interest rate, but maybe you've outgrown that house, say it was a 2-bed, 1-bath house, and now you have 2 little ones running around, if you're going to make the upscale, maybe there's some equity in your house. It's appreciated value, which is nice, but going and buying the 3-bed or the 4-bed house is substantially more expensive. Just in sale price, maybe that's not that big of a gap, but it's a lot more expensive because interest rates nearly doubled over that time. So affordability is just your mortgage payment, monthly budget, very difficult. In the recent, we have seen a growth in inventory. Because there's not as many transactions happening, the market has had more homes for sale on the market. The specific numbers, in August of 24, we had 1,252 homes for sale. In comparison to 22, we were sitting around 1,039. So not a ton more homes, but you have double thing happening. We have more homes and we have less being bought. So we are starting to balance out that supply and demand. There's still a housing deficit, meaning we don't have enough homes for the people that need them. If you've been around Spokane and driving around, you see a lot of multifamily buildings going up, apartment complexes, townhome complexes. So they're trying to meet the need for housing through multifamily housing, and the city has been very advantageous to builders. They've been trying to incentivize that to alleviate the need that we have for the growth that we've had here in the Spokane Coeur d'Alene corridor. How well we meet that need, I think we're still a little behind in the demand, and then there's just a premium on having your own single-family home. At some point, we all are like, I'm sick and tired of living in an apartment. I'd like to have my own house. So how well we're meeting that demand is yet to be seen, and there's always a lag in that measurement. I think we have high demand in single-family homes because also through legislation, through inflation, building homes has become more difficult. So you're seeing it's harder for builders to build a home and have a profit to be able to sell it where they need to, also meeting all the regulations, so they've built less homes. So supply and demand, even though it's been balancing, I would say it's still, we have a deficit in supply and too much demand. We recently have seen interest rates start to come down, so we've seen people enter back into the market, which only increases demand. So I would say for the last 3 or 4 months, we've been in a pretty balanced market. I wouldn't say heavily favoring a buyer or a seller. I'd say a little bit more balanced. We may see it tick back to a seller's market. There's a lot of factors that go into that. What happens with this next election? What happens with the economy? Can the Fed hit a soft landing? Do we hit a true recession? There's a lot of concerns in the commercial real estate index. What happens there? So there are many, many factors. Spokane and Coeur d'Alene do have the benefit of growth, and so I think we'll remain with some good demand. If you're looking to buy a house or sell a house, please feel free to reach out to us and we can dive into this in more detail and tell you what the pros and cons are of buying and selling in this market.